Hey, what's up? My name is Dr. Marcella Wilson from Learn AI and ChatGPT.com. And today I want to talk to you about how to show up in AI search results, right? But more specifically, I want to talk to you about the differences between Google spiders or Google crawlers versus AI bots. So let's get into it. But before I do, please, if you enjoy the content of this channel, please like, subscribe to my channel, and share this video. And make sure you hit the bell notification, right? Because it'll alert you every time I put out a new video. Thanks. Appreciate y'all. All right, so let's talk about one of the biggest shifts that is occurring in Google search. Well, I shouldn't say Google search period. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but AI search is kind of like taking over. For the first time in over 22 years, Google search is declining. And why is Google search declining? It's declining because people are using AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Copilot. They're using these AI tools to search. You may have noticed that, if you search on Google, there's now AI mode, right? And it will give you search results as well. So people are shifting from using Google to search and moving into using ChatGPT and tools like that. Have you been doing that? But lots of people don't know, especially business owners. Lots of business owners don't know that your products, your tools, and your services can actually show up in these search results in like ChatGPT and Perplexity. Now listen, it doesn't happen automatically, all right? So I have courses, I teach people how to get your products and services to show up in AI search results, but you can work on your site so that you can show up in AI search results. And I think when I talk to a lot of business owners think like, oh, this just happens automatically, but it isn't. I do have a video that talks about, SEO, which is like what Google uses, versus AEO, which is what artificial intelligence uses to search. I'll link it in the chat. But what we're going to talk about in this video is the differences between how Google and artificial intelligence tools search. Okay, so a lot of people think, in terms of Google or SEO. Lots of people are familiar with SEO, right? Search engine optimization, like I'll use keywords to rank and such, right? It's totally different. So let's get into how Google searches versus how artificial intelligence searches, or how they find information. So if you know how this works, this is the start to showing up in AI search results. And let me just say this too, that hardly anybody is doing this. So you can get a leg up on the competition now, because this is like, it's not on the come up, it's here, and lots of people don't know how to use it. All right, so we're gonna talk about Google crawlers versus AI bots, okay? Because AI search works very differently, and if you don't know the difference, your site or your products and your services are going to be invisible in AI search results, and we don't want that. First of all, let's talk about Google first, right? I got my notes here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So Google uses crawlers or spiders, right? They'll send out these crawlers or spiders to scan websites. I think, like as I said before, lots of people know that this is going on, right? And what they are doing, these crawlers are specifically looking at links, keywords. They're looking at technical search engine optimization things to decide whether your page ranks, where it is compared to, other sites based on this same topic. So it's basically looking for keywords, links, backlinks, that kind of thing. So the goal for Google crawlers is they want to build a giant index of the web and then organize it into a ranked list, right? So they're constantly sending out these spiders to come back and say, hey, this site is on, barbecuing. This site is on yoga, right? And they rank them, right? So again, the goal of Google is they want to have a giant index of the web and they organize it in a ranked list. And so when you search for something, it returns that list, right? This is the highest ranked. This is on page 1, the top, and so forth and so on. So if you've been focusing on SEO on your site, which most business owners have been doing and are still focused on, this is what you've been optimizing for. You've been optimizing for links and keywords, so you'll be SEO optimized. So another way to think of Google crawlers is think of them as librarians of the web, right? Just imagine a massive library, and these Google crawlers are walking the aisle, right? They're getting books and they're cataloging, every book, which is every website, based on rank, right? So they decide where your book goes on the shelf based on keywords, backlinks, authority of your site, how fast your site loads, right? So that's how I want you to think about it. So when someone goes to Google and types in a question into Google, that Google crawler or that librarian will go to that section of the library and pull the books in order of importance, right? And that's what you'll see in pages 1, 2, and 3 of the Google results, right? So the focus of Google crawlers when they return information in search results is ranking and retrieval, right? So think about it as a giant library, okay? Now, so we that's how Google crawlers work. Now, let's talk about how AI bots work and where Google crawlers are focused on indexing sites, ranking sites, retrieving sites based on a rank. AI bots are completely different. They work differently. Their jobs is they are reading and recommending, right? So AI tools, I'm just going to use ChatGPT so I just won't say like AI tools generically. I'll say tools like ChatGPT scan sites for meaning, not just keywords, right? So where Google is just looking for certain keywords or certain keyword phrases, artificial intelligence works differently. They can understand text. They can understand language, right? They are natural language processors, right? They are large language models. So you can conversate with them. They understand you. So when they scan sites, they're scanning for meaning and understanding because they can determine that, right? But But the kicker is that they can't read every site. You have to have structured data on your site, right? So when we look at a website, we can see like the images and the headlines and the colors. AI or ChatGPT, the AI bots that ChatGPT has can't see all that. You have to have certain types of data on your site for it to be able to read and understand your site. It's called structured data, right? So that structured data will tell those AI bots like the products you have, the price of those products, if they're in stock or not. It can read reviews, FAQs, so they can understand what you sell. But again, you got to have structured data, a certain type of data on your site. So instead of ranking you on a results page like Google does, which is just a list of links, AI pulls your content directly into the answer, right? So ChatGPT will scan and say, okay, this site right here is precisely best what this customer wants, or I don't want to say this is best for this customer, but it gets a prompt. It'll scan websites and say, this site has the best answer, has the best result. So it pulls the content directly from the site and shows it in the ChatGPT results, right? So that means that ChatGPT gives recommendations on products and services, right? So either you're in the recommendation or you're completely left out. So you're automatically left out if you don't have structured data on your site that the AI bots can read. So the thing about ChatGPT and Perplexity or whatever, there's no second page, right? There's no long list of links that you can scan through. It's just a recommendation of one or two things, and that's basically it, right? So, but the great thing about AI bots is that AI bots are like personal shoppers, right? So where Google crawlers are like librarians, just storing things in a big index, ranking things, ChatGPT, those AI bots are like personal shoppers, right? So just picture yourself walking into a store and say, hey, I need the best running shoes that are under $150 for flat feet, right? So instead of showing you a whole shoe section, a personal shopper will hand you 2 or 3 pairs that match what you're looking for exactly in your size, right? That's what AI bots do. So first, they're going to scan sites for structured data, right? So if you have that, they can read, the product information, the reviews, the cost, the price, if they're for flat fee, things like that. So they can confidently recommend you. So if you don't have structured data on your site, again, it can't read your site, it won't recommend you. So the thing about AI bots is that the focus is on understanding the data that's on your site and then recommending it based on the prompt or what that person is looking for, right? Like a personal shopper. But again, if you don't have structured data on your site, you're not going to get recommended at all. You're going to be invisible to AI bots. So again, why does this matter? Why does this matter, right? You know about Google crawlers, you know about AI bots and how they work, but how does that matter to you as a person, with a Shopify store or a person out there trying to sell your products and services or courses or whatever to the masses? Why does that sell? Why does that matter to you? What's really important is because your site could be fully optimized for Google. It could be SEO perfect, right? But still be invisible in AI search, which is where a lot of people are right now, right? Because this is so new, right? A lot of people haven't caught on to this yet. So a lot of people are SEO optimized or still working on that, but not even realizing that they cannot be found in AI search results. And a lot of people still think that when I talk to people, they think that just like Google, like, oh, I'll just show up in AI search results. Ooh, I'm ranking on Google, right? I'll just show up. It doesn't work that way, right? Because Google crawlers reward backlinks, speed of your site loading, keyword usage, while AI bots, they're looking for context. They're looking for structured data. They're looking for understanding so they can recommend your site, right? So what you need to do is optimize for both, because Google is not like going to disappear, right? Google is still going to be here. Google is still a powerhouse, but understand that people are moving towards searching in AI, like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever, right? So the sweet spot for you is to keep your SEO strong, right? Because that's still working, people still using it, but also make sure that your site speaks a language that AI bots can understand. Making sure that you have structured data on your site, you do those things to add that structured data to your site so that you can show up in AI search results, right? So, you can crush it in SEO. You can crush it, but then be invisible in ChatGPT. And we don't want that. Because the truth of the matter is, most people are moving towards AI search, right? So listen, the time to start learning how to show up in AI search results is right now, right? And listen, the earlier you get structured data on your site and you feed these AI bots the information that they need to recommend you, the more likely these AI bots are going to remember you and recommend you recommend you for whatever you sell, whatever your products, recommend you more for a Q4 when buyers are searching and in that, buy mode. So it's kind of like AI bots have memory, right? If they've recommended your product once and say the user has clicked on the link to your site, they're going to say, oh, that's a positive thing. So they're going to continue to recommend your site. So you want to start, like I said, you want to start getting structured data on your site, feeding AI bots informations, the right signals that they need so that they can start recommending your products and services, right? Because it's shifting. The way we're searching is shifting, and this is probably the biggest shift in e-commerce that we've seen in the past like 20 years. So you want to be able to take advantage of that, especially as we're going into Q4 where people are just spending money and I want you to get your coins, right? So in closing, the takeaway from all of this is, Google crawlers, they file you in a library, but AI bots are going to decide if you're even worth recommending to a friend. You need both. But if you're only optimizing for the librarian, right? If you're only thinking about Google SEO, you're going to miss out on the shoppers. You're going to miss out on AI tools like ChatGPT being a personal shopper and recommending your products directly to a customer. So, and the thing about ChatGPT that I didn't mention earlier is, we found that a lot of people buy when ChatGPT recommends something to them because it feels personalized. It doesn't feel salesy. No one feels like ChatGPT is trying to sell to them, right? People feel that, they ask ChatGPT some things and it gives it back the best result. So they feel like, oh, this is what I need. We found that when people buy products and services that are recommended through ChatGPT, that there is a lower return rate. They're less likely to return their product or service. And we also found that they trust ChatGPT more than a friend. So you really, really want to take advantage of this shift that is happening, because you won't get them coins. You won't get them AI coins. So people are searching on AI. A lot of people haven't caught on to that. You have. So that's why I have created a tool called the Bot Access Kit, right? So listen, you remember I said, hey, AI bots have to have structured data to even be able to read your site. And I know some of you guys are like, oh, my head is spinning. You're talking about artificial intelligence, bots, and I can't do it. I get it. But listen, you can take one step, just one step, in getting your site ready so that AI bots can scan your site. So I have a training which is called the Bot Access Kit, and literally the video is 5 minutes. And it will show you how you can allow AI bots like ChatGPT or Perplexity to scan your site, to read and understand your site. Now, this isn't the whole shebang, right? Because you may not be ready for that, but this is just the first step, which is letting them scan your site, inviting them in. Because, hey, they're not going to just, again, you have to have certain data on your site. If you don't have that structured data on your site, they're not coming. So take step one, the Bot Access Kit. It's a 5-minute video on how to set it up. And trust me, look, there's no coding. It's all copy and paste. If you can copy and paste, you can do it. So the link is below, and you can get your site ready. You can allow AI bots to scan your site. All right, I want you to get those coins, right? Because, hey, a lot of people don't know about this, right? So Bot Access Kit is step one in how to do this. It's no guessing, it's no coding, right? It just will allow, it's a 5-minute video, and it will allow AI bots to scan your site. All right, that's all I got for you today. My name is Dr. Marcella Wilson. Check out the links in the description to do all of that. And listen, I have a weekly email newsletter where I talk all about this kind of stuff. I talk about social media. I talk about AI visibility. But my main thing I talk about is artificial intelligence. And I would love to have you sign up for my email newsletter. I also talk about, things I'm doing, like if I'm having a webinar or a workshop or a live challenge or something like that, I'll talk about it there as well in my email newsletter. And I don't want you to miss out, because we are in the golden age of e-commerce, and I want you to get your coins. All right. I appreciate you so much for watching. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, guys. Take care. Get them coins. Let them bots in. Let them in. Let them in. Don't be scared. Let them in. Get those coins.